You ever notice this? Walk into a bank and say, "Hey, I want to borrow 70 grand for a truck." They smile. They print the papers. They shake your hand. They might even say congratulations. But walk into that same bank and say, "Hey, I want 70 grand to start or expand a business." Now suddenly, same building, same money, same suit, different energy. Now it's, where are your projections? What's your collateral? What's your cash flow? How long have you been operating? Can you personally guarantee it? Can you prove repayment ability? That should bother you, because the thing that goes down in value, approved. The thing that could actually make you more money, denied. That's not an accident. That's the system telling you exactly what it wants from you. Here's the truth nobody says out loud. Banks found the perfect way to keep you broke, not by refusing to lend. No, 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 that would be too obvious. They keep you broke by lending to you for the wrong things. They'll happily finance your lifestyle. They get real weird when you want to finance your freedom. And that is the trap. I call it the payment trap. Because once you've been trained to think in monthly payments instead of total costs, it's over. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and you start asking, "Can I squeeze this into my month?" That question right there, that question has destroyed more middle-class wealth than almost anything else. The average new car payment in the US was $748 a month in Q3 2025. Used cars, $532 a month. And the average loan terms were roughly 69 months for new and 67 months for used. That means people are stretching car debt out for almost 6 years just to afford the payment. Experian. Read that again. 6 years for a machine that is losing value while you sleep. And when monthly payments rise, people don't wake up and say, "This is insane." They say, "Well, I guess this is normal now." That's how the trap works. Not with force, with normalization. And if you're wondering whether the pressure is real, look at what the New York Fed said. Auto loan delinquencies have been rising across credit score bands and income levels, with higher prices and higher rates pushing monthly payments up. Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So no, this is not just a discipline problem. This is an incentive problem. The game is set up to make debt look like adulthood, but it's not adulthood. It's dependency. 3 to 7 minutes, the ego purchase and the depreciation trap. Let's go deeper. Why do banks love financing vehicles so much? Because cars are emotional. Cars are identity. Cars are status. Cars let people buy the dangerous illusion of being rich. You know what I'm talking about. Big truck, big rims, big payment, tiny net worth. That's the scam. You don't actually own a flex. You rent a costume. And the bank knows that. That's why car sales are built around one question. What do you want your payment to be? Not, what will this cost you over 6 years? Not, what's the opportunity cost? Not, what else could this money become? No, just, what can we make feel painless enough for you to sign? That's behavioral psychology 101. It's called payment framing. When you shrink a giant decision into a monthly number, people stop feeling the pain of the full purchase. A $70,000 truck feels insane, but just $1,100 or $1,200 a month, now your brain starts negotiating with itself. I work hard. I deserve it. I need something reliable. I'll use it. It's only a few hundred more than what I pay now. That's how people talk themselves into financial damage with a smile on their face. And let's call out the most ridiculous version of this, the pavement princess. That giant, shiny, tricked-out truck that never hauls anything heavier than a Costco run. It doesn't build wealth, it broadcasts insecurity. That thing isn't a utility purchase, it's an ego purchase. And ego purchases are expensive because you're not just buying transportation, you're buying validation, you're buying attention, you're buying a temporary hit of status in exchange for years of reduced financial flexibility. That's a horrible trade. And here's the kicker. The asset you're financing is melting while you pay interest on it. Kelley Blue Book says most new vehicles lose around 20% or more in the first year, and cars often lose about 60% of their original purchase price within the first 5 years. Kelley Blue Book. So think about what that means. You borrow money to buy something that falls in value faster than you're paying it off. That's not leverage. That's reverse leverage. That's you financing your own wealth destruction. And modern car culture has become completely detached from reality. People are out here acting like a $4,000 a month vehicle payment is some badge of success. No, that's not success. That's a stress subscription. That's a rolling billboard that says, I make good money and somehow still can't keep any of it. And before somebody says, bro, you need a good car. Yes, a good car. Not a car that eats your investing capacity. Not a car that turns your W-2 into an ATM for a lender. Not a car that makes you look rich while keeping you financially fragile. Because that's the middle-class trap in one sentence. Looking rich is expensive. Being rich is quiet. Now let me show you why this is so dangerous. And fair warning, the math is brutal. Let's say you buy a $70,000 truck. You finance it for 72 months at around 7% interest. That puts your payment at roughly $1,100 to $1,200 a month. So now your brain says, okay, $1,200, I can make that work. Cool. Now let's do adult math. Over 6 years, that's about $86,000 out of pocket. And by then, the truck is vastly less than what you paid because vehicles routinely lose huge chunks of value over time. Again, most new vehicles lose around 20% in year 1 and often around 60% by year 5. Kelley Blue Book. It's lower, around 6.69% real, and of course, future returns are not guaranteed. But as a long-run illustration, this is the benchmark people use, Investopedia. Now, watch this. If you invest $1,200 a month for 6 years and then never add another dollar, just let it compound for the next 24 years, you're around the $1 million mark. That's right. That truck didn't just cost you 70 grand. It likely cost you a 7-figure future. That's why I say a $70,000 truck can cost you $1 million in retirement. Not because the sticker price is $1 million, because the opportunity cost is. And opportunity cost is where broke decisions hide. People think wealth is lost in dramatic moments. It's not. It's lost in quiet little recurring decisions that seem normal. One payment, then another, then insurance, then maintenance, then registration, then tires, then upgrades, then gas. And while you're doing all that, your money is missing its chance to compound. That is the real theft. And no, I'm not talking about one evil guy with a cigar in a dark room. I'm talking about a system of incentives. The dealer wants the sale, the bank wants the loan, the manufacturer wants the upgrade, and your ego wants the applause. Everybody gets paid. Except your future self. That guy gets wrecked. This is why middle-class people can make decent money for decades and still feel stuck. It's not always income, it's leakage. It's compounding working against them instead of for them. And once you understand that, you can't unsee it. The truck isn't just transportation. It's a machine that converts future wealth into present image management. That's the brutal math. Now, let's flip the script. Why is a car loan so easy, but a business loan so hard? Because one keeps you predictable. The other makes you dangerous. A business is an income-producing asset. It can create cash flow, it can create tax advantages, it can create equity, it can create freedom. And banks know that makes it harder to model, harder to control, and harder to underwrite. The SBA's 7A program, basically the flagship small business loan lane, says borrowers must be operating for profit, be creditworthy, demonstrate a reasonable ability to repay, and even show they can't get the desired credit on reasonable terms elsewhere. Loan purposes can include working capital, equipment, debt refinance, or real estate. and loan sizes can go up to $5 million, SBA. See the difference? For the truck, here's the keys. For the business, prove the future. That's a completely different level of scrutiny. And the Federal Reserve's 2024 Small Business Credit Survey makes it even clearer. Among firms that sought financing, only 41% received all the financing they wanted, 36% received only some, and 24% received none. Applicants at small banks were more likely to be fully approved than at other lenders, but overall, approval levels remain below pre-pandemic levels. Federal Reserve Bank's Small Business Credit Survey. So when I say the system prefers you as a borrower, not an owner, I'm not being dramatic. I'm describing incentives. Banks love golden handcuffs. They want you at your 9 to 5, stable, predictable, direct deposit hitting every 2 weeks. Because a predictable W-2 employee with consumer debt is easy to underwrite. But a person trying to build an asset, that person might escape the cycle. That person might stop needing permission. That person might become financially independent. And once that happens, the whole payment machine starts losing its grip on you. So what do? Here's the move. Here's the 9 to 5 cheat code. Use the job. Don't let the job use you. Your 9 to 5 is not your identity. It's your funding source. It's your investor. It's the thing that pays the bills while you quietly build your way out. Step 1. Stop playing the auto debt game. Buy a cheap, reliable car in cash. Not sexy, not impressive, not content-worthy. Good. That's the point. You want boring transportation and exciting net worth. Step 2. Take what would have been your car payment and redirect it into an index fund, into cash reserves, into debt reduction, into a side business, into skills, into tools, into your shadow portfolio. That's the stuff nobody claps for today and everybody envies later. Step 3. Use your W-2 income to self-fund experiments. Start small. Don't wait for the bank to believe in you. Sell something, test something, build something. Learn customer acquisition, learn margins, learn fulfillment, learn how money actually moves. You do that long enough, and now you're building assets instead of liabilities. That changes everything. Because once your money starts buying cash flow instead of status, you're finally moving in the right direction. And let me leave you with this. The middle class is getting crushed because too many people are financing symbols and starving assets. They'll borrow for leather seats. They'll borrow for wheels. They'll borrow for image. But when it comes time to invest, to build, to own, to create, suddenly they get conservative. That's backwards. Be conservative with liabilities. Be aggressive with assets. That's how you break the trap. So no, the bank is not your partner. The bank is a business. And if you don't understand its incentives, you will spend your entire life mistaking easy debt for opportunity. Don't do that. Buy the cheap car, keep the flexibility, build the portfolio, fund the business, use the job as leverage, and stop giving your future away for a monthly payment that impresses people who are also broke. If this video punched you in the face a little bit, good. That means you needed it. Hit subscribe, because on this channel, we do not worship lifestyle inflation. We expose it. We do not chase the illusion of wealth. We build the real thing. And we do not fall for the bank's lies. We make our money work for us. I'll see you in the next one.